Do you know what Splash Mountain is named after? Some of you might be quick to answer with Song of the South. You're wrong. Okay, that's sort of a trick question because technically speaking, a Splash Mountain is based on the Disney classic film song, Song of the South. However, it isn't named after it. You see, back in the early 80s, Marty Sklar, the famous engineer, was trying to work on a new log flume ride that would bring some more traffic to Frontierland over in Disneyland, and then eventually decided to base it off the Disney classic film song of the South. That's where you get characters like Brer Fox and Brer Rabbit and things like that. However, it wasn't originally called Splash Mountain. The ride was originally going to be named after one of the songs that was prominently used in the attraction itself, which was Zippity Doo Dah. So the ride was going to be called Zippity River Run. However, CEO at the time, Michael Eisner, had other plans. You see, he wanted to take that attraction and use it to sort of cross-promote a live-action film directed by Ron Howard. The Disney was putting out under his Touchstone Films label was about mermaids who came on the land and stared Daryl Hannah and Tom Hanks, and it was called Splash. The Imagineers didn't really want to go with it, but the name sort of stuck, and at the same time they decided to take the attraction and make it one of the famous mountains, and that's how we got Splash Mountain, of course. But that's not the only example of a name changing over at Walt Disney World. In fact, it's happened plenty of times, even a few times before the park themselves opened. You see, back before Disney World opened, there were buildings, what was considered Phase 1 of Disney World, that included the Magic Kingdom, the Contemporary, with the campgrounds, and then the Polynesian Hotel. They were all getting built at the same time, and like many construction projects, not just within Disney, but outside of Disney as well. These projects had working names, and the working name for one of those hotels that would be connected via monorail to the Magic Kingdom was the Contemporary Hotel. It was meant to be, as the working title suggests, as Contemporary Hotel towards the end of construction. Disney had renamed it to the Temple Bay Hotel. They thought it was a pretty clever name. Temple was sort of a shortened version of Contemporary Bay because it was actually on Bay Lake and Hotel. Because it was a hotel, however, there was one person at Disney who agreed, and that was Roy Disney. As the story goes, Roy was having lunch one day in Florida. He saw the paperwork and materials for this Temple Bay Hotel, and he was confused, and he had never heard of it before. He didn't know what it was, and that's when hotel planner John Carey explained the name change to him and why they had done it. He didn't like it. He said, quote, "I just don't like it. I like Contemporary. I like the names that are really simple and say what they are. The other name is phony and plastic, and that's all." It took within a week, all the paperwork had been resubmitted, and the Temple Bay Hotel had been renamed back to the Contemporary Resort, which we all know and love today, and ride the monorail through. Did you also know that Epcot had more than one name, had more than two names? It actually had more than three names. That's right, Epcot had its name changed 3 times. Now, for those who might be too young to remember, it originally opened as Epcot Center. Epcot was spelled with all caps because at that point, Epcot still stood for the Experimental Prototype Community of Tomorrow. The word center was added there because it was supposed to represent the center of what would eventually become Epcot, the city. Walt's real dream, the story would eventually change, in the center would eventually meant to represent that Epcot was the center of the values and the ideas that Walt's city of the future was striving for. In 1994, Epcot Center saw its first name change, and it was changed to Epcot 94. You see, the naming convention was meant to sort of mimic the words fair, which Epcot itself was sort of mimicking. You had your country pavilion over in the World Showcase, and you had these technology and company-sponsored pavilions over in Future World. So they thought the naming convention would sort of represent that sort of the way that the World Expos had their years tacked on at the end. And so as a result, in 1994 it was Epcot 94, and in 1995 the name was changed over again to Epcot 95. I guess they didn't really want to keep changing all the signs and maps, because by 1996 they dropped the name convention and just renamed it to what we know it today, which is just Epcot. Save the best for last. In 1966, Walt Disney put out his final film, which is a film that showcased his plans for the future with all of his land that he secretly purchased in Florida. It was too big to be called Disneyland, and that's why he called it Disney World. It was going to be the home to another theme park on East Coast Disneyland, so to speak, as well as living beneath City of the Future called Epcot. Unfortunately, Walt never got to see it open. He passed away before they started construction on Disney World, and his older brother Roy postponed his own retirement so that he could make sure that his little brother's plans could come to fruition. He was going to stick around until Phase 1 of Disney World was complete, which included the theme park and a couple of hotels in the monorail and faster coach. He didn't want to just make sure it opened though. He wanted to make sure that everyone visited who enjoyed Disney World, whatever it was, in the near future and the far future, remember that the man behind the entire thing, the one who made it all possible, his little brother Walt. And that's why he changed the name of Disney World to Walt Disney World. Now, of course, those aren't the only examples of names they've changed. The years of Disney parks has happened quite a bit, and I'd love to hear from you guys. What was your favorite name change? Not just in the video, but throughout the whole history of the park. Let me know in the comments below. You can just, yeah. Thank you for watching. If you want to see more Disney videos just like this, all you have to do is hit that subscribe button, and I'll put out 3 a week. Have a great week, and I'll see you guys all next time. Goodbye, everybody.